All right, everybody. It is currently Wednesday, February 12th, 2025, and today is the Valentine's Day special. It's not Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is on a Friday this year, which I was thinking about it. That's like a good day for Valentine's Day, you know what I mean? You go to a crowded ass restaurant with your girlfriend, pay for a meal neither of you really enjoy. You're just there cuz it's February 14th. You get a little drunk, but not so drunk that you can't drive back home. You know what I mean? Your girlfriend's kind of like, no, don't drive. And you're like, I'm going to drive anyway. And you just kind of like go a little under the speed limit. You know what I mean? The tire goes into the dirt a couple times, but that's fine. That's just what happens. You know what I mean? You could do that. You could be doing that sober. You've just had a couple drinks. She's bitching in your ear, but you're like, as soon as we get home, it's on. We're going to have the craziest lovemaking of our life. And you get home and you're still half drunk, but once again, not drunk enough to where everything's like, yeah, let's fucking go. It's party time. You know what I mean? You're just drunk to the point where you're having weird thoughts and maybe you're saying things out loud that you shouldn't be. I'm not, you know, it's just what happens when you're a little drunk and you get home and you're both taking off your layers and layers of winter clothing. You're kind of sweaty underneath, but not like hot sweaty, kind of like just damp. You're just generally damp underneath all your clothes because the car got kind of hot because your girlfriend always turns up the heat too high. And you get into bed with your girlfriend and you're like, fuck, we're having sex on the bed. I thought we were going to have sex on the couch. I thought this was going to be crazy, you know what I mean? Thought I was going to be bending her over the counter, you know what I mean? Maybe hit her ass with the spoon. No, you're having sex in your bed in your sheets that haven't been washed in 4 months because neither of you are washing them anymore. At first, she washed them every week, but then she kind of became you and you kind of became her, and you're mad at her for not washing the sheets, and she's too lazy to wash the sheets. She doesn't see what the big deal is because you both slowly become each other. And you have mediocre sex. You know, it lasts 15 minutes. Neither of you really orgasm. You might come. You know, something might come out of your dick, but because you're half drunk and you're kind of slowly resenting this woman, it's not really a come. You don't feel any of the pleasure. It's just kind of out there. It's just kind of a relief almost. And then, you know, that's that. And you go and you watch The Notebook or whatever shitty movie your girlfriend wants to watch. And you wake up the next day and it's cold and it's gray outside and it's Saturday. And you've become so close with your girlfriend that you're not really friends with any of your friends anymore. You know what I mean? You guys still talk. You still talk every now and then, but you're not really friends like that anymore. You don't hang out. Their girlfriends let them hang out, but yours doesn't. You just stare outside of your window of your shitty apartment, of your two-room apartment. It says 3, but it's really 2 rooms, let's be honest. It's the kitchen and the living room and then the bedroom, and you stare out of the shitty fucking plastic-covered window of the living room and you stare out at that cold gray expanse because even though Valentine's Day is supposed to be, you know, this marker day of spring's just around the corner, it's not. You know it's not. You know it's just going to be cold and gray for at least another month. And you stare outside the window at that cold grayness and you reminds you of you and your girlfriend, your relationship together, and you're just staring, thinking, looking at it, looking at the grayness, being like, that's us. But it's not a sad grayness. It's just a neutral. Nothing's there. You feel like there might be something underneath there, but it's not there. It's the kind of grayness, you know what I mean, when you're too tired to even think about killing yourself. That's the type of grayness that's out there right now, and that's the type of grayness that's in your relationship. There's just no reason to end it. There's no reason to keep going forward. It's just this limbo. You exist in this limbo, this, you know, like Dante said, it's not heaven, it's not hell, it's maybe even worse than both of those. Because at least in hell you go mad, and at least that madness distracts you from the hell around you, the torture around you. And it's not heaven. It's definitely not heaven. That orgasm last night proved it. And you're just staring out of the window at this grayness, and you can feel the snow underneath your feet. You know Sunday's just going to be shit. Monday's going to be even worse. And the day after that might as well end it all. But there's no reason to end it. No reason to keep going forward. And so that's Valentine's Day. I don't know. I've been listening to a lot of Tim Dillon, and I tried to go on a rant. I don't know. I need to choose between Tim Dillon or Shane Gillis. Last night, I did go full Shane Gillis in the shower. Speaking of Valentine's Day, I'm going to paint a sexy-ass scene for you of me in the shower. So I was in the shower, and I was just thinking of, like, tweets, because I don't know. That's what I do when I'm in the shower now. I just think of tweets. And one of the tweets that I thought was pretty funny is, no one eats pussy more nonchalantly than me. I don't even take the fit off, and I barely open my mouth. I thought that was funny, but it also kind of sounds like a Trump tweet to me. And I just thought about Trump talking about how he eats pussy better than everyone else. No one eats pussy better than me, folks. You wouldn't believe how good I eat pussy. I don't do it, though, because that would be submitting, and I'd never submit to anyone. Baron eats pussy. He eats really good pussy. He brings women to a fast and hard climax. Usually people have to choose between a hard or a fast climax, but Baron does both. He eats pussy so well. You wouldn't believe it. Baron's girlfriend is so hot. She's 22 years old, but I'd never fuck her. Even though I could, I could. I eat pussy better than Baron, but Baron's very good at eating pussy. And I just did that for like 20 minutes. And eventually it devolved into like Joe Biden talking about how corn pop caused 9/11. Real ones know about corn pop, dude. Corn pop's the fucking goat. I was just thinking about Joe Biden accidentally saying that like the towers flew into the planes. Tower flew into a plane. Tower fuel steel beam plane. You won't believe it. It's crazy, folks. I told Corn Pop don't do that, but he did it anyway. Corn Pop took over the plane with a razor. Rusty razor, banged it on the floor. Said, I'm on this plane now. I just did that for 30 minutes in the shower. I should have been recording it. I should have just got my computer completely soaked in fucking conditioner, soap, and water, and I should have recorded it. It would have been worth it. Would have gone extra viral. Just doing the Corn Pop story, Joe Biden story. I met Corn Pop. Corn Pop said he said he bitched Joe Biden. You wouldn't believe it. He said even back then Joe was sleepy. He said I didn't kill Joe because he just fell asleep and I assumed he died at the sight of me. God damn it, dude. And speaking of I've been trying not to say, like, I've been like programming my brain not to say anymore. Like I've tried to replace it with words like and or like so or whatever, just because is just, it's awful, dude. And every time I hear someone say now, like I have a professor that like is just but it does sound like sounds better than but when she's giving a lecture, she'll like go off on a tangent like I'll do, and then she'll like go back to the material and she'll be like and like every time I hear it, like I'm counting the ums in my head. I'm like, we're up to 43 and it's only 20 minutes in. What's wrong with this bitch? But I do it the exact same amount, and I'm not even talking about, it's like a evolutionary biology class, so it's like, it's kind of complex. It's not that hard. It's really just kind of like history, but instead of like George Washington, we're talking about cyanobacteria. But she says a lot, and it just, every time I hear it, it just like it pangs me. Like in my head, it's like it sends an electrical shot through my head, and I'm just like, what the fuck is she doing? I just do it this, like I just started doing it. I just started trying not to say and I thought that was really funny. And it is Valentine's Day, so we do got to talk a little bit about Saint Valentine. So Valentine's Day is obviously done in honor of Saint Valentine. He died for our sins. He died so we could buy our girlfriends. I say our. I'm not part of this at all, dude. I'm just an observer. I'm just in between. I'm in between like the incel world and like the actually having a girlfriend that you kind of like, you don't love but you don't hate world. That's where I kind of am. That's where I exist. And so I'm just like this casual observer. I wish I could be like that with everything. I wish I could be like halfway between like white and black, like just exist there and make observations, make funny, witty observations. What's the deal with do-rags? That's what Jerry Seinfeld is, except he's not just an observer, dude. He takes some stances and he takes them hard, you know? He's over here. Why did they walk out? Is he like super pro-Israel? I don't remember. I don't think he is. I think he's just Jewish. And they walked out of that fucking speech on him. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I think it was just like Duke. Yeah, Duke. One of like those rich, like not quite an Ivy League. Like when you're too dumb to go to an Ivy League, but your parents are rich enough to like pay their way into a certain school to make you look good. You know what I mean? They're not rich enough to like pay for a new library for Harvard or Dartmouth or whatever. But they can get you into Chapel Hill or something like that. They can get you on a Duke. And they all like walked out of this speech. And maybe he's pro-Israel. His last name is Seinfeld. He's one letter off from having the most Jewish last name in the world, dude. If there was a T in there, if that guy's last name was Steinfeld, he might be the most Jewish. Lives in New York. His whole show was about how like it was about bagels or something. I don't know. I've never watched an episode of Seinfeld. It's one of those things, like, you know how old people, or like not old people, like older people will show you the like the comedies from when they were a kid or whatever. Like we had a class when I was in high school called History Through Film, and it was exactly what it sounded like. You know, it wasn't like a teacher like breaking down. We weren't watching like art movies and he was like, look at the camera angles and the color grading and all that. No, it was just straight up watch movies and answer questions about the movies. And you could just Google all the questions. Like he just got it from like Wikipedia or like IMDb. He just went into the comments of the IMDb and copy and pasted questions people had onto like a Google Doc for us to fill out. And he showed us the movie Airplane, and he was like, "This is the funniest movie in the world. You guys are going to be. It's not appropriate for guys your age, but this is a history through film class, so we got to get inappropriate sometimes. But it's the funniest movie you've ever seen. The bits are hilarious." And he'd like pause the movie and be like, "You guys are gonna love this part. It's the funniest part of the whole movie." And it was just like the least funny thing ever. It was a guy being like, "Yeah, I don't know. I'm scared of planes." And that was like the joke. It was the most unfunny. I feel like that's what Seinfeld is to me. It could be funny, and that's probably what I'll be like. I'll never have kids. I'll never be close enough to a pussy to ever have kids. I might buy a few, you know what I mean? I have been talking about getting that army going, that army of the boys with the syndrome. That might be what I'm rocking with. And at that point, they're laughing at everything, so I don't have to worry about whether they think It's Always Sunny or Trailer Park Boys is funny or whatever. But I have experienced that pain that teachers felt. I have shown my friends Mean Girls and been like, dude, this is the funniest fucking movie I've ever seen. And it's just, even I was like, oh, this isn't that there's like one it's just the gay dude. That's the only funny part. I think I was just like, the first time I watched it, I was like 15 years old and just horny as hell, seeing like Lindsay Lohan's boobs bounce, being like, God damn, dude. Not realizing that she's like 36 now, being like, God, I gotta find her. I gotta marry this woman just because she has kind of nice tits. As a 15-year-old, I don't know how old she was in that movie. Maybe she was 18 or 19. Maybe I make it past the barrier, but I'm talking about through the perspective of a 15-year-old. But the only funny part of that movie is the gay kid, and even he is really, maybe I was high. I don't know. I don't remember, but it wasn't that funny the second time. So I understand the pain of being old and showing like kids movies, being like, dude, this is the funniest Kareem Abdul-Jabbar tells a guy to shut up, dude. You wouldn't believe it. It's the funniest thing ever. And St. Valentine's Day, he is not funny, all right? There's nothing to joke about here. So St. Valentine was a martyr, meaning he was killed for having a certain faith. That faith being Christianity, obviously, because Christianity is the most persecuted religion in the world. Not even... I'm going Seinfeld, dude. I don't give a fuck. I'm taking hard stances. The Crusades were justified. We need to get back in there. They've had enough. We've had enough of everyone else controlling shit. It's Christianity's time again. It's the Pope's time. The Pope, dude. The Pope's army. The modern Pope's army that he would lead would be wild. You guys know Pope Francis. Pope Francis is out here. It would be like the United States military. How the United States military like pays for transgender operations. The Pope's army now, you would have to be trans to get it. You'd have to be like trans or like have like some weird like autoimmune disease no one's ever heard of, and also be non-binary. You can be non-binary, but only if you have like a weird autoimmune disease. And that is, I think, probably because the Pope is old. He doesn't realize all that's out. Like the whole trans thing, like all that shit's out. He's got to realize that now. It's all about MAGA and MAGA. If he wants to get on the wave, we're gonna have a MAGA Pope. I'm the best Pope. There's never been a better Pope than me. I've never sucked a kid's dick before or made him suck mine. I've never even had sex. I've never had a sexual thought. You wouldn't believe it. No one's more sexless than I am. It's incredible. My penis has never been... I don't even have a penis. My penis has turned into neither a penis nor a vagina. It's not even a mangina. It's a secret thing that I can't show you. I can't... God blessed me. He said, I'm going to turn you into the most sexless alien there's ever been. And now I'm the Pope. So we got to have a MAGA Pope is what I'm saying. We got to get like... He's like a big MAGA guy. We got to get Ben Shapiro in there. We could definitely get Ben Shapiro to convert, I think. I don't think that would be the hardest thing in the world. If we could get like... There's like a guy Ben Shapiro probably looks up to. I don't know, Trump. Maybe we could get Trump to get... Maybe we could get Jones. We might have to get Jones to get Shapiro to convert. Now he's MAGA Pope. It could be the move. That's the only way we're gonna take over the Middle East again. Turn it to Middle America, all right? You know how they renamed the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of... That's the one thing that like throws me off. I'm like, dude, what are we doing here? I've read 1984. I know about it. It does sound like I'm being like an annoying preachy guy, but I'm just being an annoying wannabe funny guy for the rest of the podcast. So who gives a shit? But I do think it is like kind of weird how like Trump's like changing the name of shit. You know, if he changes it to like Trump Constantinople, I don't know. Like Constantinople was named after Constantine. If he changes DC, it could be the move. Change DC to Trump Capital registered trademark could be the move. I don't know. Maybe he's gonna do that. But we do need a MAGA Pope, is what I'm saying. If we had a MAGA Pope, there'd be no more St. Valentines. There'd be no more martyrs. How come we don't have any like modern martyrs or like saints or stuff? We got like Mother Teresa, and then that guy that like kind of started that weird cult thing. Wasn't that a thing? Like a guy was like, they're like trying to get him as a saint, but he was like a saint only on Facebook. Like he was just like some autistic guy who spent all day on Facebook, like some schizoid type of guy who was like, I'm healing you through comments on Facebook, and they're trying to make him a saint. That's the modern saints. That's how you know the world is falling. Like back in the day, even if it's complete bullshit, even if the history is completely made up, back in the day, it was like the Saints would like lead an army of like 10,000 people against an army of like actual demons. They'd be like, the Muslims turned into demons and we led an army against them. And now he's a saint. He led an army of 2 people against an army of 10,000 and they killed them all. And now he's a saint. God, dude, why has history gotten so gay? They're going to get to our section of history and they're going to be like, dude, they locked down the entire world because of a fucking cough. Dude, back in the 1300s, guys' heads were like dissolving, and they didn't give a fuck. They were like, must be ghosts. That guy pissed off the ghost, you know? Now his head's dissolved. What are you going to do? We got to go back to that. We have to revert. We got to get a MAGA Pope in and stop believing in diseases. And St. Valentine, you're thinking it's one guy. It's actually 3. So maybe 3, definitely 2, maybe 3. And this is what I mean when they were talking about ancient history. They were just making dudes up. It's like when they talk about like those drones over New Jersey. Like, I saw a drone and it ran around and it picked up my dog. That's not in New Jersey. I saw a drone. No, I can't do New Jersey. Hey, I saw a drone and it like fucked around and it took up Gino's pizza shop. Now Gino's not in there anymore. Mom, you don't understand. It was an Iranian drone that sold your TV. He gave me the money, and I did buy a few Oxycontin with it, but it wasn't me. It was an alien drone. Like, that's what old historians were like. They're like, yeah, you wouldn't believe it. I just found this dude, and he was dead. This guy that I've hated my whole life. I just found, that's like what? That's how you, like, got out of shit in the old times. They were like, are you lying to me? It's like, no. I swear on my honor, sir. Hand to the Bible. I did not kill that man. And the police were like, he said he didn't. He said he didn't do it. There's nothing we can do about that. So ancient history is sick as hell. We don't even know how many St. Valentines there were. There is 3 Valentine's Days, though. So the Orthodox Church has 2 St. Valentine's Day, I guess for like the 2 that they know of, on July 6th and July 30th, dude. Ooh, fucking, where are they Orthodox at? Like Turkey? Not Turkey, Greece. Fuck, mixing up Greece and Turkey. They're about to come for my ass, dude. The Turks and the Greeks. I've been talking about the Balkans and Greece and Turkey. Fuck, dude. That might be what gets me. Because like Israel, they don't care enough about me. I'm just a retarded guy, just living I'm just a chud in a cave, just chilling, talking about Israel. They don't give a shit. But the Greeks and the Turks and the Balkans boys, you know what I mean? The Bosnians will come and track your ass down on foot. Just 18 dudes that all look the exact same, wearing fucking Adidas track suits, being like, what did you say? You said Bosnia is no good. Bosnia is number 1. And they like beat you to death with chains. That might be how I go out. I might be the first podcast martyr. The Church of Joe Rogan will, what's that called? Canonize me as a saint, the first saint of the patron saint of podcasts with no listeners. That might be me. Who is the patron saint of podcasts with no listeners? No one. We don't know who he is, but he's out there somewhere, living at an accounting job, just hating his life, making a podcast about sports that no one's listens to, and he takes on all our pains, all our sins, all the incredibly racist and nonsensical things I've said on this podcast fall on this man's shoulders, and I'm thankful for that. And that's what I'll be celebrating February 14th, all right? Not this gay-ass Valentine shit. But it must smell funky as fuck on July 6th and July 30th because the Greeks are already touchy and horny dudes. They're already out here getting active every day of the week. I don't know how Greece isn't number one. Greece should be the India. I guess they wear condoms maybe. The Indians definitely don't. The Indians how like some dudes will be like, I can't wear a condom, I have a latex allergy. There's definitely some Indian dude, like some Indian like Hindu like priest equivalent that was like, it is actually banned. Vishnu says you must not wrap your penis. And that is why I'm going to beat up this pussy raw. I'm going to beat up this pussy like a Pakistani. You guys know about the border war between India and Pakistan? If you don't, I think it's between India and Pakistan. It might be between India and China. It's got to be between India and Pakistan, though, dude. Those guys fucking hate each other. They're beefing, but the whole border war, it's not like, I guess if you use guns or like some type of weapon or something, then it becomes like an official war and like you have to go to, I don't know how that works. Like if you use a gun, you officially declare war. I don't fucking know. But they can't use guns. That's the basics of it. And so it's just dudes with like broom handles, dudes that look the exact same. But I hate to break it to you guys, you're the same person. Same with like the Balkans people and kind of the Turks and the Greeks. Not so much, but whatever. It's just dudes that look the exact same, decked out in like shitty riot gear. Like, like those night vision goggles that you got out of a magazine when you were a kid and they just didn't work at all. You're like, whoa, I have night vision in, and the lights were still on. You're like, dude, I can see fucking everything now. You just forgot to turn off the lights. The night vision goggles don't work. They're decked out in that type of gear. They're decked out in like a shitty apocalypse movie type of gear. They're dressed like Mad Max. Like if Mad Max had a budget of like $100,000, that's what these guys would look like. And they're just decked out in like this shitty riot gear with like broom handles, just beating the shit out of each other. Just over who's hornier, dude. Who's hornier, the Pakistanis or the Indians? That's what the border war is all about. It's not what the martyrdom was about. The martyrdom was just about them being Christian in Rome. I'm trying not to say and so I'm just making these transitions that just don't make any sense at all. But we got a ball. We got to learn, all right? But some people associate Valentine's Day with the advent of spring, which, I mean, swing and a miss there. What the fuck are we... February is the opposite of spring. February is like in December and January and maybe a little bit in November, you're like accepting that it's cold, but February, you're just so beaten down by the cold. Maybe that's why they associate it with spring. They're just so beaten down that they're just delusional as hell. And they're like, this is spring. It's spring now. All right, it's spring. It's February 14th. No, spring will never come. You're going to live in the cold grayness forever. And you're never going to feel another emotion again. It's just the way it's going to be. All right? So they do associate it with the advent of spring, but that's just a swing and a miss. I mean, and just Valentine's Day at the end of summer. It's the hottest part of summer. Once again, you've been beaten down by the weather. It's just humid and hot. And now you have to go out and buy chocolates for your... Oh, my God. That sounds awful. That's a nightmare. And speaking of nightmares, one of the first Valentine's Day celebrations in France, and this was like one of the first Valentine's Day celebrations as a romantic type of thing overall. And of course it was France. Obviously it was France. Those guys are the Indians of Europe. Just maybe the Italians. You could make an argument for the Italians. The Italians might be more aggressive than the Indians. They don't even ask. It's just part of the culture. It's just fish and water out there. They don't even notice. Like, what? I slap a girl on the ass. I come behind and I pinch her ear and I stick my tongue in her ear. What? It's part of the culture. You have a shitty culture. I'm taking some hard stances. The spirit of Seinfeld infected me. But this is a nightmare. This is the worst thing. Like I said, never had a girlfriend before. Never even went on a date before. But from what I've heard, this sounds like actual hell. So one of the first Valentine's Day celebrations happened in France, and part of it was that women would settle disputes between lovers. Holy shit, dude, what a nightmare. Fighting a woman one-on-one. Like, I have sisters, and we argue a decent amount because we're siblings, it's just how it goes. And that's hell. Like I'd rather get in a fist fight with my, like when I was a kid and I'd argue with my brother, he would just fucking shove my face into the couch and tell me to shut the fuck up, and that was the end of it. He'd just go full like mob on me. You know, I'd be sitting on the couch and he'd come up behind me and just start choking me, being like, the TV's mine now. And that's how the argument was settled. And I'm looking back on it, that was nothing better than that. Because going to war with women, they're gonna end up dragging you someplace you don't even know. You're just going to start off like arguing about like the TV or whatever. Next thing you know, you're just in an absolute hellhole, just in an absolute whirlpool, arguing about 18 different things at once. And now you're going 2-on-1. Just give it up. That's probably why they invented the guillotine, because they were like, I got to find a way to kill myself as efficiently as I have to argue with 2 chicks at once. I'm out of here. Let's call it a day. Let's call it a life. It was a good one. God decided to send down these two demons, dude, these 2 argumentative demons to just put me in a whirlpool of hell. I'm just taking my head straight up. It's just what's got to happen at this point. So, I mean, that sounds like hell. And that was definitely like made when like a queen was in charge of France. Because sometimes it's like a queen's in charge, sometimes a king's in charge. I don't know. This is medieval times, so it's probably like, oh, the queen's in charge, she's the next in the line of lineage. Actually, sorry, babe, I'm in charge now. Look at this document. We can't argue with it. God told you to shut the fuck up and put me back in charge. We're going to war. I'm going to send 100,000 guys. I'm going to send 100,000 peasants to die over a piece of land that no one will ever use. I'm going to send 100,000 peasants to die now over a piece of fox hunting land. That's what I'm going to do. Sorry, babe. No more sending chicks out to argue. We're going to send dudes to die. It's the way it's got to be. God said so. And yeah, if you heard this, you would agree with Pakistan, Indonesia, and Saudi Arabia, because in all those countries, Valentine's Day is banned. In Pakistan, like we kind of already established, every day's Valentine's Day out there, dude. The Pakistanis are always confessing their love to the chicks. They're always out there being like, you're so beautiful. I love you so much. You're the most beautiful woman in the every day's Valentine's Day for those guys. So that makes sense why they banned it. Because it's just like, what's the point of it at this point? We're already confessing our love to these beautiful white queens over Instagram every day. You know? Fuck it. We don't need Valentine's Day. In Saudi Arabia, I mean, they were probably just like, you guys can drive now, but we're banning Valentine's Day. You don't get to be like, well, Caitlin's boyfriend got her a whole like big ass chocolate for Valentine. You got me a small chocolate for Valentine. No more, none of that. You get to drive now. We let you out of the house. You get to go to the supermarket by yourself now. No more Valentine's Day though. So that was probably the compromise there. In Indonesia, I don't know, like 8-year-olds smoke cigarettes in Indonesia, so I don't think anything the government does really has any bearing at all on what the people do in Indonesia. So that one's not a big deal. And Galentine's Day is celebrated on February 13th. Yeah, Fat Bitches Day is February 13th. All right, we're almost to the end of the episode, and I have to write some dumbass shit for a creative writing class. I have to write some dialogue. Gay ass shit, dude. Just talking about Valentine's Day. Just the notion, just the pure idea of having to argue with 2 women at once to just put me in the mood. I'm done with the bullshit. Cupid is the god of desire, erotic love, attraction, and affection. He's the god of India. India joke. Boom. All right. I'm so funny, right? Right? I'm just pissed off as hell. And then, so Cupid is the sun. He is the child of Venus and Mars. Venus is the god of love, or goddess of love, and Mars is the god of war. Makes sense why he's the god of horniness. He's just the god of like, kind of like weird, not love. Definitely not love. Just pure fucking, just male like rage horniness. You guys all know what I'm talking about. All right. Boom, we did it. Valentine's Day. I'm funny as hell. Everyone fucking knows. God damn it. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to be meta. All right, you guys don't understand how meta I am. I'm making fun of myself, which means you can't make fun of me. All right, I already did it. I already made fun of myself. You can't make fun of me. Whatever. All right, we're done. Hope you have a good day, good week. If you got a girl and you got to deal with the Valentine's Day shit, I hope you can at least smack the shit out of her. All right. See you guys on Sunday for Ben Frank Part 2, The Revolution. Peace.